Hey, Wendy, this is Devante here again at Veteran Home Realty. So, I wanted to actually go through with you, actually just writing up your agreement. I showed you an example. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap my head around something that you can feel. So, again, we got your average monthly rent. So, I know you said you wanted 2,500. Let's see if we can go ahead and get you 2578. And go to this calculator and see that you wanted 33.9 for your property. So what I would like to do is, I told you I like to do 5 to 10%, just starting out. And let's say a buyer can bring more, then we could definitely add to that. So 5% of your purchase price, that would be 16,950. 16,950. So we'll go back to this contract. It's called agreement because that's really what it is, just an agreement. It's not really a contract. Contracts are binding. And then, so yeah, I did that wrong. Okay. And we'll do at 10%. So the down payment could be between 16,950 and 33,990. So buyer has option to buy property at 339,900. That's trying to give the buyers, the sellers, their bottom dollar price at all costs. Monthly rent, and down payment, and purchase price as well. And like I said, I'm pretty sure you already got a sign in your yard, so we're just gonna leave that up here. So I typically, for these, an agreement can be made up to 1 to 5 years or more. Just to keep it on a broad basis. But what I like to do is kind of just let you know what you'd be looking at after, after a year up to 30 years. Now, I know it's kind of a touchy subject for some, sellers and stuff. When I ask about the mortgage information, are you free and clear? Does it have a mortgage? But I ask that because, it will really help out sellers. If I knew that information, if I knew you were free and clear, if I knew you had a mortgage, I could give you an estimate of cash flow, that, you could be looking at, but if you could go ahead and just calculate it yourself, that would be able to help you out. So after about 1 year at 2,578, you're looking at 30,936. after 2 years. Oops, that's not right. I know what happened. My bad. Okay, so you'd be looking at 61,872. After 3 years, you'd be looking at 92,808. After 4 years, oh, that number's so big, I don't even know if I want to spell it out. 123,744. And after 5 years, wow, we're really getting to the dough right here. After 5 years, wow, okay. Hold your horses. 154,680. So after 15 years, now you're really looking into some heavy duty money. And after 30 years, $928,080. Now, after 30 years, you do complete owner finance. For deals like this, these are my gold deals, I call them. You pretty much get someone in the property. You say, okay, we'll do a complete owner finance. Is that you assume responsibility for repairs and maintenance. You assume responsibility for taxes, insurance, everything. Complete owner financing. 30 years, I'll deed you the property. Now, the benefits in that is that not only if you do have a mortgage, you'll be free and clear, and you'll just be straight cash flowing. And the best thing is, at the end of the day, it's a non-refundable down payment. They handle all repairs and maintenance, so there is no landlording. And the best thing about this is that you're getting somebody in there essentially is going to call you to fix any toilets, and you get some retiree veteran, or someone looking to downsize, and all they'll be doing is just paying on the note, being as quiet as a church mouse. And how great would that be to just make this kind of money, essentially at no cost to you? It's an investment that you already paid for, so it's money that you've already spent, and now you're getting a return on it. Just what could you do with this type of money? If there's anything that you needed to pay or anything, that's just an amazing cash flow, formula to be able to hold on to it. Because what my mentors have always said is, why kill the golden goose? If you're able to make that and be as secure as possible, And like I said, I just, I do 1 to 5 years typically. But, if, you know, 30 years, was was a possibility, then there's definitely room to be making some serious money, and all at somebody handling the repairs and maintenance and someone putting down a great non-refundable option deposit. Now, if you want to do 30 years, you could even just do it like the bank. You would essentially take your purchase price and maybe even 30% down, 20%, you know? So there's just a lot to consider. You could get 80 to $100,000 down doing complete owner financing. That's an option as well. So I want you to think on that, and we'll just keep that open. Just it's always good to have all the options on the table. So why don't we go ahead and just leave that open ended, for a complete owner financing, because I feel as though you were right. Just the idea, the area, the appreciation, just what it commands, that you could essentially rent it out for $5,000 a month. It's a gem. And I mean, like I said, who's not to say, I don't know, who's not to say you couldn't charge 3,500, and the people from Europe, are just going to keep it. So whenever they want to come back and forth, it's there. It's there for them. Even right, if seller agrees for 30-year complete owner finance, seller will hold deed until note is paid in full. Seller is not entitled to the property over until note agreement has been fulfilled or obliged. So essentially, and this is where I give so much security to the sellers, and that just speaks on just my experience and how I make deals. Is that here's the thing: is that where people mess up at. So somebody would do a 30-year complete owner finance deal, and they'll deed the property to the buyer. They'll deed the property to the buyer. They'll do like a land contract, so the person gets the deed. And when you do a land contract, you have to evict somebody as if it's a foreclosure. So that could take years. I'm dealing with a guy right now who has stood up the bank for 4 years. He owes $100,000 in back payments. But with this is that you're not releasing the deed until that note is paid in full. So if I even just add more security with this, if deed, if agreement in owner finance is not secured, is not obliged, is not obliged, buyer retains no equity in the property. Yeah, buyer retains no equity in the property. So, that's facilitated in the paperwork as well. Is that somebody could be paying down the note, and if for whatever reason they flake out, and you had an agreement, let's say they pay for 10 years and they flake out, well, they don't hold any equity in the property. So like I said, I facilitate these deals to where it is more risk for a buyer than it is a seller. That's how I facilitate it, because even though the buyer has a lot to lose, but not a lot to lose if they're a serious buyer. If they're walking in and they're not playing any games, then they would have no problem signing this. If they're a shady person, then they're going to run away from this. And a seller such as yourself would feel amazing having this much, security inside of a deal, because you're not releasing this deed until your note is obliged. So essentially, if somebody flakes on the agreement, you can evict them as if they were just renting your property 30 days. They have no deed. They have nothing to hold on to, because they don't have a deed. They don't have a ground to stand on. So we change the date right here. September 1st. Okay. So, that is how I facilitate my deals. And, you can agree to as many years as you'd like. Like I said, I just like to, for what you feel is most comfortable. So this, like I said, this is nothing official, just to get the ball rolling. And once we can come to an agreement, we can get that over to the attorney and we can draft up an official document. And once we get a serious buyer, we can draft up a document for that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Wendy agreement. And I will go ahead and send that over to you. Well, Wendy, it's been an extreme pleasure being able to talk to you and be able to put this deal together for you. It's my great pleasure, even though it is 11 o'clock. There is nothing I'd rather be doing besides, talking and consoling my wife at the moment. But, I definitely enjoy talking with this process with you. And, it was a pleasure talking to you earlier. And I hope that we can put together a deal. And this is Devontae Arrington, Veteran Home Realty. So thank you and have a blessed day.